We're going to get started, everybody. First, with the introduction of Haddon from Congressman Jeff Van Drew's office. And I'm going to let Haddon introduce himself, and then Haddon's going to give the opening statement about this wonderful grant that we received for our cyber crime reduction program in Atlantic County. So Haddon, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Haddon Antoucci. I work for Congressman Van Drew. I'm his policy director. And I work down in Washington, but I am a South Jersey guy. I grew up in Mays Landing. Definitely have some family history here in Atlantic City. This is a really great program that we've been working with Jimmy on for a couple of years now. It all really started back in 2020 when we brought Secretary Ben Carson to the city, and he officially designated the Atlantic City Envision Center. That was a really big deal. That was a really big win. My boss really personally pushed to get this designation. And what that did is really set up the future for a relationship with the federal government. So we took that special HUD designated Envision Center, and then we connected Jimmy and his nonprofit, the Heart Organization, through the community project funding process, formerly known as earmarks. And so what we did is we worked with the Department of Labor, and I believe all of the legal agreements and regulatory requirements were just completed to provide $1 million to this organization, and in partnership with the Atlantic City Police Department to train, to recruit, train, a couple dozen people from this community from South Jersey to work with the police on installing and maintaining this public safety camera system across the city. And we see this as a really excellent hybrid of economic development, workforce development, as well as a public safety project through a partnership with people in the community, through institutions like the Atlantic City Police Department, the Envision Center, and that's really, giving people really good, well-paying jobs, skills that are going to last, long after this program is done, and, set up to what's now becoming, really a national project that we're working with other congressional offices and replicating our model in New York and in other areas, in North Jersey and other areas of the country. And I would say that this has really started to grow exponentially since we gave you this $1 million in seed funding through partnerships with different national security agencies of the federal government, through partnerships with other federal offices. So I'll say that the Congressman is really excited about what this means for workforce development, for public safety in Atlantic City, in South Jersey. We've made really incredible progress over the last few years, and we're fully committed to this organization, to this mission, to this project, going forward into the future. We're excited to see what the next steps are. We're excited to get the recruits in here, get them trained, deliver the goods on this project, show a successful outcome, right? That's what we want to see. That's what the Congressman wants to see over the next year. We want to see a successful outcome. We want to see a good first recruit class. We want to see good installation of this public safety system across the city, and then we want to take that success and grow it even further. So, I want to thank Jimmy for, everything he's done to lead this project, for the Atlantic City Police Department for being here and for their partnership in this. And of course, I think we all got to give thanks to the Congressman for his leadership of this and for everything in South Jersey. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I think we've got a great thing going here, and we want to keep it going.
Thank you very much, Haddon. And to buy some time, because we're waiting for our honorable prosecutor to come for his statement, does anybody have any questions that they would like to ask Haddon about the grant?
Sure.
Okay, if not, we'll keep moving. And what we're going to do, we're going to switch the program around a little bit. Rick, you'll let us know when the prosecutor is headed this way. And we're going to let Horace Jones start to talk about the program to everyone, so you can understand what the program is, etc. And we have a sheet that Horace will go over with. And anyone that would like a copy of Horace's presentations after this can just email me and I'll send a copy of the presentation to you. So with that, Horace Jones, our CyberPoint partner. Horace Jones also sits on the board of directors of our nonprofit U.S. Humanitarian Aid Response Team, which is the recipient of the grant. I'll allow Horace to give you some background. He has a very unique background in terms of working in the government, working in the intelligence industry, being a cybersecurity expert extraordinaire. He's been a part of the whole Dale Zero Trust program. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Horace Jones. And Horace, you may have to scoot your chair a little bit so they can.
Okay.
There you go. They got you in there now.
Okay, good.
So
So good morning, everybody. And Jimmy, thank you for those very kind words. My day job is that I'm the president of CyberPoint International. So in addition to all the things that we're doing here, I have a 30-plus year experience kind of in this area, starting out working in information technology and systems, and eventually kind of understanding what we are seeing today is that we have lots of really, really bright people in the country building equipment and systems, and now we have to figure out how to protect them. And the more technology evolves to provide us more comfort in our living, the more vulnerability points that we have. So I met Jimmy a couple years ago. We were putting on a cyber event, and as it turns out, he said, "Hey, I want some of that." And I said, "Well, if you open this bottle and the genie comes out, are you sure you want this?" And he said yes, and that's been the start of our partnership. I will go back to Haddon's kind of point. This is a really good seed program. We are going to demonstrate lots of components. First, the recruiting aspect of this, because we believe that there are lots of people that have the skills to do cybersecurity. They just don't have the opportunity, and the access doesn't come to them. So we're going to recruit 20 people who we believe have interest, and working with some of the local Atlantic City organizations. And you know, I usually tell people if you can operate a cell phone, then now you need to know how to protect a cell phone. So we're going to start with this program. The Atlantic City Police Department has an issue where they're going to replace and expand, I guess, their audio systems. So this is a good opportunity for us to take the model, put it in place. We're going to train 20. We may be able to expand that a little bit more. We'll see. But we're going to train people, and we're going to give them 3 different courses, is at least our plan now. One is in low voltage, using low voltage equipment. The other one is actually just learning how to use the sensors and the cameras, what components are there, so that they're more than just consumers, that they actually understand how the cameras work, configuration, setup, those kinds of things, because that'll help us as we work with the police department. And then the third one are tools, the tools that you use daily if you're performing these kinds of tasks. So they'll get tools, they'll get some training on the technology, and we will also give them a low voltage component so they'll kind of know what the limitations are and how to use low voltage equipment. We've got a plan. You know, the one thing is logistics, and these kinds of efforts have to do with, you know, we want to start the recruitment and the collection or the assessment of people. We have been working with the Atlantic County Police Department for a year now, looking at potential cameras and trying to understand the background on kind of where they're going and what they want to do with them. Another component of this is we're going to build here in the Innovation Center a prototype. So we'll have some cameras, we'll have effectively a monitoring station, which the police department has now in a bigger scale. But we want everything to be able to be done here, demonstrated here, and then we transition it to the police department as they tell us kind of where and how they want to implement these new cameras and get them in. And now we'll have a workforce training to kind of help us do that. So that's kind of the broad picture. We are, I think, 30 days away from actually getting the funding. So once we get the funding, you know, engaging some other organizations and helping us, especially with the recruitment aspect, which is the first piece, we'll kind of be able to start more of that. But we have a good a good understanding, we believe, of the technology that's involved. And we believe we know how they want to lay it out. So if we can build our prototype system here with cameras, something that is equivalent to a monitoring station, and show the cameras in operation, then all we're talking about is scaling it to fit wherever the police department wants to put these cameras in place. And we'll learn a little bit more about that as we go forward. I think this, we scoped this, I think at 18 months. I think in the application, and that's to give us, sometimes there are supply chain, kind of situations, because we want to get computing assets and those kinds of things in here. So there's probably a little bit of fluff in there, but we just had a conversation 2 weeks ago with the Department of Labor group that's going to be managing and monitoring this for us. So we'll have quarterly performance and financial reviews that will track this, and however Jimmy you decide we get it to Haddon and his group so they can actually kind of see what's going on. We'll certainly make sure you stay abreast. And if we get to points where we think it's an event that's worthy coming down Haddon, at least I don't know if the congressman, but maybe there's a good point kind of in the middle once we maybe get the prototype in place. Maybe that's a worthwhile thing. I know he's got lots of things on his plate, but at least for you so you can see it. And Jimmy, maybe we can make sure we send them some kind of quarterly report on kind of what we're doing and how things are progressing.
I think we'd be very interested in knowing when training begins exactly.
Okay.
It's an election year, it's a busy year, so we can maybe try to get the congressman there to observe some of the training, but I think certainly when you have your first class of trainees graduating, that would be a moment where we could maybe, bring the players in more, the congressman, the chief, the prosecutor, some of those folks to the table, and to celebrate that graduation and those folks actually entering the workforce. I think that would be the particular moment that would be the congressman would be most interested in attending himself.
Okay, so
We want to talk about your local project?
So we'll put that in to our plan as we go forward, kind of planning.
What's up, guy?
Hey, man, how you doing? How you doing?
You there?
You looking good. Good to see you. Good to see you, man.
Hey,
Hey, man, how you doing?
Hey, I see you right.